Hi, welcome to Pamela Price Unfiltered. I'm your host, Pamela Price, and this is the space and the place for real talk. This podcast is all about raw, unfiltered conversations on politics, law, culture, education, systemic racism, and current events shaping our world. We'll go beyond the headlines to dive deep into how some of our most pressing issues impact real people, real families, and our communities. My goal is to help you navigate the complexities of today's world. Each episode will tackle an issue, breaking it down in a way that's honest, informative, and actionable. We'll hear from community leaders, lawyers, activists, healers, educators, and everyday people on the front lines of change. For those tuning in for the first time, I'm Pamela Price, a longtime attorney, political activist, and champion for justice. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch the show and to Substack to read the weekly word. Your support keeps the conversation raw and unfiltered. And you can also listen to Pamela Price Unfiltered wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome to the show. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Pamela Price Unfiltered. I'm Pamela Price, your host, and it's my delight today to welcome to Pamela Price Unfiltered, Mistah F.A.B. He's a rapper.
How you doing?
Oh, great. The rapper, the songwriter, the entrepreneur, the community organizer, and activist. And so many people are certainly enthralled with everything you're doing. So we get to talk about it. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. Chilling just a day at the shop. I came in today kind of like just focused on what we're doing with building, the clothing store and its whole expansion. I'm planning on opening up some more stores, but just want to get this store together and continue to keep it rolling. We've been blessed to be able to survive, through the pandemic, through a lot of flagship stores closing down. So we've been able to be the motto and catalyst of how to sustain during those times. So just continuing to keep pushing and good fielding positive energy into this fashion world.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's dope era. And you're holding it down. You're on Broadway, right?
We're on Broadway, man. We've been on Broadway. So we're almost a decade so far. So I'm just happy to just keep pushing it and using it as a hub center, a community hub, not just for the clothing space, but just a reboot hub, an energy hub where people can come in and they know they can be around some good energy, can relax, can, just feel that rejuvenate. And I think a lot of people use it for that. Sometimes you'll catch folk who it's a lot, mental health is real and we deal with it right now at levels that are higher than they've ever been. So you see a lot of people who are just wandering and walking around the street and they out of it. But for some, I won't say strange or weird reason, but they come here and they'll sit down and it's a safe space for them. It's a safe space to reboot, to be able to not be judged, for someone to see what they're going through and just allow them to just chill, sit on the bench, relax. Here, you want something to eat? Put some, grab some clothes, throw these on. So, yeah, man, I'm so thankful that God is using me to do some of the work that we're doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're absolutely right. People just need a place to belong and to be a safe place where they can just chill and try to, assess what's really going on, what matters to them, where they're going, and how do you heal from where you've been. So one of the big initiatives you've been celebrated for in our community is Thug Therapy. And I'm so thankful for that. So tell my audience, what is Thug Therapy and what inspired you to bring that to us?
Well, that's the latest celebration. They've definitely showered me with with enough love and a lot of celebrations that can last a few lifetimes. But the latest round of applause comes from um, the Thug Therapy, which is a mental wellness workshop that we've been able to curate. The Thug stands for teaching, healing, uniting, and guiding in
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic form. So we're able to teach, we're able to heal, then we're able to unite, and then we can guide someone towards a trajectory in which would be positive affirmations. I think some of the feedback that we've been getting is there are people that they go to these therapeutic workshops, and you deal with folks that may be clinicians or maybe professionals or experts in that field. And sometimes the common folk, they feel pressured. They feel pressured because maybe they may not have the mental aptitude, or maybe they not have the emotional vocabulary to describe the sentiments that they're dealing with. Whereas when we're dealing with in our spaces, it's just, hey man, come as you are, be who you are, say, speak, do all that as you are. And we don't judge, we listen. But in the midst of us telling, hearing your story, we reveal the heal as well. So we're not in a position where we're coming from an expert position saying, yeah, we're healed and we're here to, do this and do that. No, we healing as well. And your testimony may be a part of our journey of helping us heal. So to get a chance to see brotherhood and sisterhood heal together as a collective, as Twan says all the time, it's a coalition, not a competition. And
Right.
so I'm not in any competitive sport with any of the clinicians or any of the. I actually recommend that they come out and to join the advocacy, and so some of the folks after they're done dealing with the brotherhood can actually go get some real professional expertise in that realm. So I encourage many of the clinicians and psychologists and therapists to come be a part of it, because it's something that's organic. It's based in the community. It's rooted by the community, and we're allowing the work um, to be effective, and it's very impactful. It's impactful because people continue to keep showing up. So, I use my celebrity contacts and my influence to go bring and bridge people together. So you'll see people like Marshawn Lynch. You'll see people like Ryan Coogler. You'll see people like many of the other people coming out, me sitting down with them. I've got a chance to sit down with the new mayor, Barbara Lee, and got a chance to sit down with several other individuals. And we just talk about what is therapy to you.
Absolutely. And I love that you are a bridge in so many ways. And you're absolutely right. You people sometimes can the bridge there can be a bridge to the kind of professional therapy because everybody's not able to engage in professional therapy. Or some people are burnt out of professional therapy. They like, I done talked to too many people so many times. I don't want to talk to no professional no more. But they still need a place to heal and a place to vent and a place to learn. So that's such a valuable service that we can never appreciate you too much for that because our community is hurting so much. It's there's such a depth of need as you see over and over again. Tell us about some of the other things you do. I know you do the Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. You do giveaway for kids. I mean, you've been celebrated because you're doing the work. So tell,
Do it for the celebrations, although it
yeah.
does feel good to be appreciated. I think
Mhm.
there are many people that walk through life that do things that deserve to be celebrated, and they don't get a chance to receive or hear those round of applause or get those roses, so to speak. But to be able to actually be doing the work and to receive the roses is definitely a humbling experience. But I tell people all the time, I'm more focused on the healing than the headlines, and the healing, because the headlines can change, and we've witnessed that. The headlines can change with one disgruntled journalist or one member of the community or the village who may feel slighted, and next thing you know, it goes from Mr. Fab's backpack giveaway to what has a backpack ever done to help.
Right.
It's like wow.
Right.
So it's that easy to be lost in the headlines. um, you live for the cheers, you'll fall for the jeers. But
Mm-hmm.
August 9th is the 21st annual backpack giveaway community. So for 21 years being on the front line, and it continues to grow because as I grow, I'm going to continue to keep spreading to my new colleagues and new business partners the passion that I share and what I've been doing. And I'm going to kind of like challenge them to say, oh, you're not doing nothing in your communities, or you're not helping, community restoration, you're not doing anything, and challenging them. And it makes them look at them like, damn, I haven't done anything. So, or I want to do something. I just didn't have a pipeline to funnel it through. So this year, we're partnering with Steph Curry and Eat, Learn, and Play. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to bring out the bus. That means there's going to be books, there's going to be food, there's going to be apparel. I partner with Shoe Palace, which is like a major shoe company that is going to come out. They're going to donate up to 500 brand new pairs of shoes to the children. So I partner with some of the local barbers and cosmetology class schools. So there will be people out there doing braids. There'll be people out there doing haircuts. I have some nail techs that will be doing some young ladies' nails. So it's just going to be a village of a multitude of things, diversity, and so much in just one block radius that you can see. If we're able to put this together in one block radius, let's take this as a model and duplicate this all throughout not only our city, but other cities abroad. And we look at, we're pulling this off with not a heavy budget, just
Right.
those that have resources that are willing to share them and willing to open up uh, that resourcefulness. And that's how you pour back into the wells in the community.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is incumbent upon those who can to do what they can. And people that can and sit on the sidelines are absolutely part of the problem. So thank you for that, for giving folks an avenue, an outlet to do that. And you're right. A lot of times people want to do something, but they don't know how, right? And it takes someone with the vision and the ingenuity that you bring to the table to say, this is how you do it. And just open it up. So that's a gift. Don't downplay it. It is a gift to that helps other folks for sure. So you've been doing the rap thing for how long now? A long time.
Music, hip hop has been a long time. I think my first talent show maybe be about 10 years old, 11 years old. So how many ever years that is to now. Me being 25 right now. So no,
All
I've been
right.
doing it. I've been doing it a while, man. It's a passion of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Even with just hip hop, not just hip hop music and not just rap music, but just music as a collective. I'm a decorated songwriter through R&B records, soulful jazz music. I've led my pen to the likes of several artists. So as a songwriter, as a producer, there are many different positions that I've played in the music business.
Mm-hmm.
So learning to become um, a music expert as far as just playing the whole board of not just being the person on the microphone, but the A&R, an A&R position, project development, project curation, songwriting, producing, and so forth and so forth. It's been a beauty to be able to watch uh, the maturation of that dream, because I can remember when it was just notebooks and thoughts and ideas, and my mother yelling, telling me to cut the music down, you know,
Yes.
music
Mm-hmm.
blaring and glaring through, blasting and glaring through the walls of, our project buildings. And I know that in her room, after she yelled, she sat back and would say, at least he ain't in them streets, So there was a happy moment in the midst of, her yelling, saying, cut that damn music down. I'm just happy to be able to say, I'm living in my dreams. A lot of my friends have forfeited their dreams, and I've watched a lot of people refuse to dream because reality deems to be too hard, and
Yeah.
they don't want to get caught in a fantasy world. Whereas with me, I take on an urban Peter Pan role. Like I never want to leave Netherland, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what has kept me in my safe space. Oakland is my Netherland. It's my a world that I imagined, and creating my own Disneyland. I'll live in my imagination, and my greatest advice to anybody in that world is never leave the playground, for that is where you felt. you're most innocent,
Yeah.
and your imagination thrives so much because on that playground as a kid you were able to project any reality that you wanted. And so as an adult, just keeping that innocence of an imagination is what continues to keep me creating at the level that it does, and I'm thankful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so many artists have come out of Oakland that have that same spirit. I mean, I for those of us that know, Ryan Coogler's family and know where he came from, and now to see him on the international, just living his dream. It's just really and uplifting the family and our community, starting from Oakland, right, with Fruitvale Station, right, and now the brother has just gone on and has blossomed. And so that was awesome that you were able to bring him home to talk to people here, as part of the thug therapy session. And that's the thing, is those of us that have been blessed to be able to create a reality that's different, that wasn't expected, to be able to give that back to our folks. That's pretty amazing.
Ryan coming out was amazing. A childhood friend of mine, he and I grew up together. So for us to be able to, at this stage in our life and our careers and everything, to be able to find a nexus and a
Yeah.
meeting point for us to spew things into our village and our community kind of is in alignment with what it is that we both are doing. His illustrations through movie, film, theater, mine through music, culture, and arts,
Yeah.
and to conflate with a conversation, but more so be the catalyst of those that were expected not to rise above, the expectations of what, people from our city and people from our area can do. He is at a level um, that I think that even himself never fathomed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
chase a goal, you chase a dream, and in the midst of chasing it, you don't really worry about how high you are on that ladder or on that totem pole because you're caught up in a dream. But when you get a chance to sit back and reflect on it, you're like, damn, I have come a long way. My grandmother would always tell me, you never know how tall a giant is when you're standing next to him. Sometimes you have to step away to realize how tall that giant actually is. And my friend Ryan is a giant. We've been doing this thug therapy for 2 years, and it takes for Ryan to come for one session, and the whole world is talking about it. I was like, it just made me remember, like it made me remember, like, damn, Ryan's a giant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my dog's a giant. But we don't look at each other like that, you know? We don't look at each other like that. And but I'll
Yeah.
never uh minimize or marginalize who he is as a friend. I am thankful to know giants for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's important that those we support each other in the things that we try to do. And I know that many people are so appreciative of what you do and want and supporting you as much as possible. So I'm sure Ryan was like, "Yeah, sure, of course I'll come."
I wish it was that easy. He for a long time he was like, hey Stan, man, I don't talk in front of people like that, man. I'll do interviews, but I don't talk like that. So um it was actually the wife that was like, hey, go do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we talked, and initially he was only supposed to do like, he was like, man, I got like 20 minutes, cuz like 20, 30 minutes. And man, we set up and talked for like 2 hours because it just,
Yeah.
he saw that he was healing.
Yeah.
He saw that he was helping people heal. He was seeing how it was being received. He was, and it's a multitude of things that we have going on, but I'm just, I think the biggest passion of mine, Miss P, is I want to be able to create this academy, this like a skills tech program academy that would be the new model for what inner city kids would love to do. I feel like there's this school that was once a continuation school that has been shut down. It was called Ralph Bunch, and
Okay.
it's on 21st and Adeline, and it's just a ran down school now. Like it's just, you know, just a shell of
Mm,
itself. And of course, I think certain people in the city, construction companies, want to build up, you know, high rises or living stuff that where none of us can actually afford it.
right.
Uh, but I feel like for us to push education, and I think that the influencers have to push it. The influencers have to push education, because with that, we'll be able to grab the attentions of those of the kids that may not be going to school. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what has been socially and systemically engineered in our communities are they're creating these charter schools in our neighborhoods, and these charter schools are making our kids take assessment tests that are not only culturally biased, but they know that with the curriculum that's provided to them in their areas that they won't pass these tests. So
Mm-hmm.
many of our children are being excluded to having access to a better education, which is a part of the dynamics of educational apartheid,
Right.
and the same as the medical apartheid with the mental wellness and mental health and what we're doing with our children. So then they're forcing our kids to go to these schools on other sides of the town, or low, you know, the most inferior school and education. So they get the inferior education, inferior teaching, inferior everything about their schools. And then they have
Mm-hmm.
this new policy called No Kid is Left Behind, where they thought that they were doing people a favor by just passing our children through school. But in actuality, school, that time comes so fast. And now here it is, your child is in the 12th grade and he's just going to get pushed through. And
Mm-hmm.
either they're going to be down the road to Damascus, or they're going to be on a road to content living, where it's livable wages and not lovable wages. So they'll get the most
Right.
inferior jobs, the low hanging fruit of job training. So with the access to no job training that they've had, so why don't we create uh, institutions and spaces of curation that can help give our kids an advantage instead of us always being at a disadvantage? But now in today's time, these children are the most fearless that they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
But fearlessness with no direction is leading down the road of destruction.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things that, along with what you're saying, we often ignore where the unemployment rate in most major cities for black youth are, consistently triple, double what it is for other folks. And we don't, that has become normalized. So yeah, getting a job is just, you might not. It's 50-50 in a lot of places. So it's not the way.
You got people out here that's working real good jobs and still can't afford to live. Like you
Right.
got people out here who county jobs, you know, city jobs, making a nice amount of money if they were somewhere else, but still asking some other people to borrow some money to, you know, help with their rent and stuff like that. So it's definitely, you know, mentally fatiguing to individuals that's going out saying, "Man, I did everything right. You know, I try to do, I did all, and I'm still on the other end of struggle." Like I say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful to be able to, you know, be living in my dreams, and my dreams are are funded. Like, you know, my dreams are funding this lifestyle and these dreams, but I can't do it alone. And I'd be the first to admit, yeah, we need, you know, not necessarily help, but we need to be intentional on our ask and our requests. So when I go out and I spew to the community and to individuals, villagers, and people that I know that are of influence, like I say, man, let's be resourceful enough to start conflating our resources to build these gaps. Like, you know, imagine if the Ryan Cooglers of the world and the Steph Currys and the Marshawn Lynch, if we all poured into this academy and we gave resources to it, like the job can get done much faster and we can reach many more people. It'll be
Right.
so thick, people be wanting to get in, and we'll have to open up another, which is a good, you know, a good problem.
Right. Right.
But
It's a
if
good
you
problem.
create the model for, look, this is what we own, this is what we doing.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like what LeBron James has done in Akron, to me, should be the model for the rest of the world. Why aren't any more basketball players doing that? A
Mm-hmm.
school that creates a pathway to college and teaching these kids. That to me, that's like, I think that's one of the most unappreciated things that LeBron James has done to in this realm. Of course, he's a great basketball player, but this man actually, he and his friends actually created a school that pays for education, that'll pay for kids' colleges. I don't know the true details and everything about it, but to me, that's enough to motivate me to say I want to do that here.
I heard that. I know
Now, of
that's
course, I
right.
have nowhere near LeBron James' financial comfort, but
Hmm.
I feel like my hope, my dream, my passion is just as wealthy, if not more. And through that, claiming the life that you want to see. I know that it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, I hope that I get a chance to plant the seeds to those after me can be able to say it did happen, to see that dream. I'm going to do my damnness to create it so I can actually see it.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. You're right. Education is a game changer. Absolutely. And we have examples of
There are
people who have
examples
done that. There are
for
examples.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. So let's shift gears. I want to talk a little bit about the state of our community in terms of folks that are coming home. One of the pioneering programs that I initiated as a DA was reentry coupled with resentencing. And in California, people are entitled to be resentenced. CDCR has estimated it's about 40,000 people in the state. And I was told when I became the DA, there's at least 2,500 people from Alameda County that are eligible to be resentenced. So that's going to happen. It's supposed to happen. And at the same time, we've got a reentry community, but it needs to be strengthened. And we need it. It appears to be that we need to be better coordinated. Can you speak to what you see from your vantage point in terms of how folks return? Maybe they didn't do everything right in coming up, but they did their time, they paid the price, and now they're coming home. And what do we do? How are we doing on that?
Well, my situation is a little different because I'm super impacted about some of the works that you've done. You
Mm-hmm.
actually helped bring my brother home, who had been incarcerated for, I think this last one was 17 years, 17, 18 years, but 10 months got out. He did 13 years, got home. He was only home for 10 months and then went and did 17 years. So that's really 30 years.
It's 30 years.
Um,
It's a lifetime.
it's a lifetime, in 30 years. But him coming home through the resentencing program and through being reacclimated back into community, I think his situation was a little bit different because he had a support system coming home. He had a great support system. Unfortunately, some returning citizens don't have a brother that's boots on the ground doing a lot of the work with the access to friendships and relationships that I have, that I was able to allocate. So I won't be naive to the point and talk about how, yeah, it works for everyone, because some people just don't have that support system. Thankful that I was able to work and churning the ideas of this: one day my brother could potentially come back home, and we can create an ecosystem that he can live and thrive from. So he's been doing amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
his 8 to 9 months being home, he has a job, his own place of residence, he has his car, his license. He's working on getting his passport once he gets be able to return, to get off discharging early, to get off parole. And hey, man, he loves it. And there are other individuals that I've saw and that I've seen make a great adjustment because of the programs, utilizing these programs. But what we have to realize is you have to want to change. You have to want to change, and if given an opportunity to go out and go exude what it is and what's required to change.
Yeah, everybody's not ready.
everybody's
Everybody is not
everybody's not
ready.
ready, and
Everybody's
but
not
nor
ready.
neither can we be. Can we not understand how strong of a hold being institutionalized, how that does? You take a man away from their home for so long and you force them to adapt to these barbaric ways of life, and then you throw them back in civilization, it
Right.
might take some time to be civilized. But what we talked about in the aforementioned, it's important that we create mental wellness spaces. We create reentry programs. We create geared up for society to be reacclimated into modern day times, up to adjustment. And I think the biggest problem is no longer running, trying to chase that past. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
had to tell my brother. You in a rush to go chase something that's gone. You trying to go chase that past, that's done. You can't go back and relive that calendar no more. That's a done calendar. We can't go back and, you know, in his absence, all of our family passed. Mom, dad, granny, everybody that he loved outside of me had passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the sorrow and the mournfulness that one has, he begins to start feeling guilty. And I told him, man, you got to let that go. You can't have growth guilt. I think that's something that's not talked about a lot. And growth
Mm-hmm.
guilt is growing and not feeling guilty, growing and not looking back, growing and becoming comfortable with the new version of you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, to the brothers and sisters that are on the precipice of returning and resentencing, although this new administration is so against that for some reason, they don't believe in second chances, which is crazy to me because I know that somewhere along their life they've made a mistake that they wish that they could go do again. And and if they had an opportunity to replenish what it was that they destroyed, I'm pretty sure that they would do it again.
That's right.
It's so funny how people get into position and they just become void of any empathy and sympathy. And I'm not saying everybody should be released. I'm not saying all that, but a
Mm-hmm.
person at 17 or 18 who's 50 years old now, well, that's reviewable. So to be
Exactly.
able to bring these
Mm-hmm.
kids back in and get them back to
Mm-hmm.
mentor programs and stuff, you had a beautiful system. But when you become the solution, you become a problem.
You become a
You know,
problem.
when you
That's true.
create solutions to the problems, now you're the
Mm-hmm.
problem
That's right.
because they capitalize off the problems. And so
Mm-hmm.
they actually need the problems. They need inmates. They need incarceration. They need these things because that's what pays their children. That's what pays their bills. That's how they're able to continue to curate, cultural nepotism. Meanwhile, we inherit being sorrow and the mournfulness of losing loved ones and
Right.
lost descendants and the disconnection with no parenting and no guidance
Right.
because our role models and our heroes have either been assassinated or have been incarcerated. So
Right.
we are always on the losing end of that role until we have friends beyond enemies' lines. But once we get friends behind those lines, you have to understand you're preyed upon. And that's what we witness with you. We witness individuals that should have been rallying and petitioning to keep you in position because you spoke on the better half of our neighborhood and our elders and to replenish and reconnect our divided neighborhoods. But,
Mm-hmm.
everybody doesn't see it like that.
That's true. That's true.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered. All right. All right, fam. Thank you so much for your time. I know you got 1,000 things to do, but I really appreciate you coming to Pamela Price Unfiltered and sharing your wisdom and your joy because you are just wonderful. And August 9th, where's that going to be happening at?
It's at the Dope Air Playground, which is 996 44th Street in North Oakland. Uh,
Right on.
it's an all day event. It's completely free. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do any of that. We will be having backpacks full of supplies, paper, pens, notebooks, all the tools and utensils that the children need. There will be free food. There will be free clothes. There will be brand new shoes. There will be haircuts, braiding, the whole everything to prepare our children to get ready to go out and feel the best that they can feel. My main thing, I think the word of the day for the event would be convivial for our children to be able to experience what convivial is, even if it's just for one day, to have
Mm,
that level of joy. And hopefully we set an example for people that are looking and can emulate this blueprint and spread it. Let's continue to keep going. This is our 21st annual. My sister and I, along with several other members of the community that have contributed and passionately been involved. So I'm just thankful, and that's just one of the many events that we have coming up. And that's the one that, I choose to talk about because it's a reflection of who I am and somebody that's just always putting community first.
All right, then. Thank you so much. And back at you, my brother. Thank you so much. And certainly, anytime I can volunteer, contribute, whatever I can do to support you, you know you got that.
It's all good. I love, man. And hit me anytime you need me. It's much love. And
All right.
I see you. I see you when I see you.
All right, brother. Take
All right,
care.
P. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Welcome to Legally Speaking. My guest this week was Mr. F.A.B, a generous philanthropist, activist,